What's up, everybody? Bears Over Beers, powered by Second City Gridiron. Ryan Drosty here with Brian Orenchuk, and unfortunately, we're coming off of a loss against the Green Bay Packers this past weekend. We're mentally finally moving beyond it. Brian, how you doing tonight?
Doing great, man. Doing very well. I'm actually very appreciative of the L, more so the atmosphere than the actual unfortunate result. But the atmosphere was a great opportunity for our team to learn, to galvanize, to learn firsthand why you can't start slow, and some things that we've already heard the coaching staff and players echo in these press conferences early this week. But I expect to see a fired up squad moving forward the rest of the year, and I can't wait for next week against the Packers. But before we get to that, we have a tough Browns squad that I think is going to pose some really, really healthy challenges for our offense, and excited about it, man. I was telling you off the air, I'm actually really like the Browns team this year, and we'll get into that. But I'm doing well, man. You can't win them all, and it was a hard fought game to the end. So I'm excited to be here with you, and if we got to eat some crow, let's eat some crow. We're fine with that. It was a game that we could have won at the end, and we didn't. So it is what it is. But like I said, I can't wait to get them back. But all that to say, man, how are you doing?
It was the first snow day of the school year today. It's been super cold here in Iowa. We had like 50-mile-per-hour winds. Didn't really snow much. It was just blowing around the snow everywhere. Pretty cold. So been home all day. I kind of agree with you. Obviously, we wanted to win the Packers game. It was one we expected. I think we expected to split with them this year. So, to go in thinking that we might lose there was not a surprise. We really wanted the win because, God, Brian, I wanted to be drinking a IPA, 120-minute Dogfish Head tonight, over 15% I had promised the listeners. And unfortunately, maybe if we get them in Chicago, I'll still break it out after the next game next weekend. But yeah, I mean, you're talking about a team in the Bears that had won 9 of 10 games, 5 straight. It might come with some added benefit to, refocus after a loss like that. And, when they come to town next week, getting some revenge, that will kind of be the idea. I got my wife bringing me a bottle opener here, Brian, because I realized that I got down to my office and I'm like, the beer that I picked out, I can't twist it off. I need a bottle opener. So thank you to Mrs. Drosty here. But yeah, I'll be ready to go with the beer. What are you drinking tonight? I'll let you go first.
Yeah, so I'm bummed like you are. I was hoping to drink my Polish porter, the Żywiec Polish porter, but I got to hold on to that one a little bit longer. But I do have a special beer. I've had one ready a couple weeks ago with the weather lurking in Chicago this year. It's going to be chilly. So this is my last winter ale, the Cold Mountain.
Okay.
It's going to be cold. It's going to be cold. Cold Mountain. It's a winter ale. Vanilla, hazelnut, dark fruit, cinnamon. Just a real drinkable winter ale. Love it. And nice. Like I said, it's going to be cold this weekend. So looking forward to maybe another snow game. That'd be fun.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I got 2 things here, Brian. I'm not going to get too over the top, but I was like, I got to do something to make this show a little different because this beer I've already drank before. I mean, it's a classic. I always like porters when it's cold outside, and we had this snow day today. So, dark beer, Founders Porter.
Oh, nice.
I drank it on the show couple of weeks ago. It's not from Cleveland, but it's from not too far away in Grand Rapids, Michigan. So I got that. But then I also was thinking about the weather and what could I do thematically for a game that might end up ranking in one of the top 10 coldest games ever at Soldier Field. I mean, we're looking at this, we got the title of the show tonight is Winter is Coming. We got the forecast of -10, anywhere from -10 to -20 wind chill I have seen. If you're looking to go to a Bears game this year, you don't mind the cold weather, this is the game to go to because the tickets are not that expensive. Shocking, because people don't want to sit out in that. So anyways, I was like, what, if I need to warm up, what would I have? And little Fireball whiskey.
Ooh, nice. Nice. So how are you gonna do this? You gonna do one shot and then the porter, or mix it? What are you thinking?
I think I'm gonna have the shot and then the porter, Brian.
That's what I would do.
I'll do it. So I'll get the porter in the glass here, ready to go. I don't know how long we've had this Fireball. I just found it in the bar. It's been down there a while. I'm sure it's still fine. But yeah, it's not something I drink often. Once in a while in the wintertime, we'll put it in a mixed drink or something. But all right, the porter is looking nice. Here it is in the Bears Over Beers pint glass, per usual.
Yes. Cheers, my man.
Maybe we'll take a drink of this first. Cheers. And Daniel in the chat. Always good to see Daniel. What are you drinking tonight, Daniel? Are you drinking with us? Let us know. Doesn't have to be alcoholic. And then I suppose I'll open this Fireball. We'll see how this is tasting. Ooh, the cap's a little hard to get off. Not a great sign. It's caramelized around the rim. I might only go a half a shot of this stuff. We'll see. Okay. It is okay. Here's the history nut in me. This is in the Herbert Hoover Presidential Library shot glass. Now, Herbert Hoover, pretty shitty president, but you know what? He was from the state of Iowa. We claim him. And I've been to the Presidential Library and I had to get a souvenir. The only president from the state of Iowa. So I got that here.
Nice. Cheers.
Bottoms up.
Oh, boy.
Oh, yeah. That's Big Red for you. Whew. Like drinking Big Red. That'll warm you up. Look, I'm taking this like a man. I haven't even taken a sip of the beer yet. It's feeling the heat.
Good for you.
Okay. All right. It's good.
Now you're going to Chicago. Going to Soldier.
Pack the flask.
Yeah.
All right. Good stuff. Oh, also I should shout out. I see this in the chat. Stephen Matthews. I don't know if he's tuning in, but he recently joined the Second City Gridiron as a channel member. So appreciate that, Stephen, as well, supporting the channel to an even greater level. And yeah, check out all the other Second City Gridiron podcasters while you're on the channel after the broadcast. Great stuff going up every single day. So Brian, we went into that Green Bay Packers game and a huge surprise right before the game with Kyler Gordon re-injuring himself and in pregame warmups. And it sounded from Ben Johnson's comments today like they are not optimistic he will play again this year. They don't know. It's an unknown. But man, oh man, this guy, one of our top players on defense, just unable to stay healthy this year. Huge loss. We've talked about him a lot on the show, how important he is to the run game. One of the best nickel corners in the game. And God, if he can't return this year, well, I mean, I'm glad we got CJ. He's been a huge signing for us, and that's been huge. But man, to lose Kyler for the rest of the year really, really sucks. I mean, what was your reaction when you saw the news on Sunday morning?
He just can't seem to stay healthy. He's not had a full season his whole career yet. Yeah. And granted, he played a lot more every year he's played so far than he has this year, but he just can't seem to stay healthy. And I love the combo of him and CJ. We've only seen that once, I think. One time we got to see that against the Eagles. Mm-hmm. And the things that CJ does well, Kyler does well as well. But Kyler is a better cover defender. Pass defense, can run with the guys that, a lot of people, nobody really talked about on Byard's interception against Jalen Hurts. It was Kyler that was in AJ Brown's back pocket the whole way in great coverage. And that's no small feat there. So we're going to miss him. But as Ben alluded to right afterwards, like we've kind of gotten used to not playing with Kyler. So the defense, from a schematic standpoint, from a personnel standpoint, they've not gotten familiar with him all as is. So it's not as big of a loss, I think, mostly because of CJ and the way he's been playing, especially in the run support and as a pass rusher. But I'm bummed, man. Kyler's one of my favorite players on the whole team. Yeah. Like he's one of my favorite guys on the whole team, offense, defense. And so it's bummed not to see him on the field. And Injuries just keep getting us. It could be worse. There's some teams that are worse when it comes to injuries, and hopefully we get Tremaine back soon. But Kyler, man, that one definitely hurts. I hope he does come back. Maybe like playoff time. I don't know, but Ben didn't sound too optimistic that he'd see him again this year, and Ben didn't sound too happy either. He did not sound too happy that Kyler was once again dealing with a soft tissue injury. So that's gonna be interesting to see how that plays out, because I believe he's up for an extension. So that'd be interesting to see what happens there. But yeah, that was a bummer, man. How about you?
I just keep thinking at this point, and I don't know, maybe I'm not in, medicine, but I'm starting to wonder, man, at what point do you start looking at the training staff? Because some of these nagging injuries, or like guys getting cleared to play and then they're not really healthy, there's got to be something going on, right?
Yeah.
Like with Jalen earlier this year and playing in Detroit, getting hurt 1 quarter in, and this Kyler, the nagging. I mean, they're gonna have to look really hard at this training staff, I think.
Yeah.
In the off season. It's unfortunate, but I mean, that's the nature of the job. That was my first thought, is how does a guy re-injure himself in warmups?
Right.
What is going on out there?
Yeah.
And I agree, we're in a better spot, than we would have been because of CJ, and we've learned to play without Kyler most of the year, unfortunately. There's just that factor of, we had been hoping all year that we would get him back fully healthy, and Jalen for the stretch run. And now that's taken away. We've got Jalen back, not looking like himself though at all. So like if Kyler, I shouldn't say at all, but a lot of the time, he hasn't been looking like himself. If Kyler's able to come back, if we make the playoffs, you got to wonder, like, is he going to be himself? Or you don't want to put a guy out there in a situation that's so important if he's going to be just a shell of himself. So they're going to have to weigh if he's even ready to go or not, and contribute in a way that he should. But no, man, it sucks. I agree with you. One of my favorite players, such an impact guy when he's been out there for the team over the last few years, and huge bummer, absolutely huge bummer. And then, watching the game itself, like I mentioned, Jalen and even Byard, who's been so great this year, like some of the blown coverages and, just barely missing out on interceptions. There's one that Brisker just barely missed against the Packers. Jalen being like totally out of position on one of those long touchdowns. Just horrible game out of our defense, just up and down on Sunday. I was really happy that the offense was able to battle back like they have done, this year. They started really, really poorly, but turned it on in the second half. And I mean, to the defense's credit, they were able to get a couple of key stops too. But it almost felt like Green Bay could just score at will on us. And it was just such a downer on the defensive side of the ball, because we felt like the defense was improving. And unfortunately, kind of got brought back down to earth a little bit on Sunday.
Yeah, for sure. One of the things that we knew going into it was, if you can pressure Jordan Love, you can force him to make mistakes, and that was evident on his interception. We got to him, and he threw a terrible pass right over the middle of the field, right to CJ. But aside from that, like we didn't get much pressure on him, and the at least two, if not all three, of his touchdown passes were when we brought pressure, additional personnel on a blitz, and it got picked up easily. And he had all day to scan the field with fewer guys in defense back there, and he just picked us apart. Credit Matt LaFleur for calling those, those man beaters, the man defense, winning routes for the offense. And Jordan, it doesn't take a high school quarterback to know if you're in man or zone. And I'm not saying Jordan Love's a high school quarterback. Like he's got a heck of an arm, and he put the ball out there for them to make plays. So, it was unfortunate we didn't get after him enough, and I do think we turned it up in the second half, which is why I feel like, come again 2 weeks from now, week and a half, whatever it is, it's going to be a different ball game. I think a lot of it was due to intensity. I think some of it was schematic. They kind of hit us in the mouth in a way we didn't expect, both on offense and defense. And I'm looking forward to seeing our guys respond. But Gosh, if I wouldn't think watching that we need an additional pass rusher. We need a not even necessarily Micah, but somebody that can bring some heat, man.
Yeah.
That's just definitely the glaring need for our whole team, I'd say.
I know we're gonna talk about the Browns in a little bit, and I watched that Browns Titans game and watching Miles Garrett. You're like, oh man,
Yeah,
if we had a guy like that on this team. It's the obvious, glaring weakness of the team, and it's going to show up as a concern if we make the playoffs for sure. When we need some guys getting home up front, but guy, I really feel like when we add that to this team, it's going to be such a complete team and we'll be a legit contender. I'm not saying we can't make a deep run this year if things go right. It's possible. But
right.
man, if we fix this pass rush, this team's going to be real hard to beat. But yeah, I mean, they battle back in the second half. Caleb starts playing a lot better. Like I said, a couple of good defensive stops. I agree with you. We couldn't play much worse in coverage. You wouldn't think. So if they can fix some of those things and tighten it up for the rematch, and it's at home, you feel pretty good, because like I said, we couldn't have played much worse, and it was still a one possession game. It came down to the final play.
For sure. And I look back at that fourth down conversion where Josh Jacobs had 4 guys on him and he somehow got free and ran for 21.
Yeah.
Like that was the backbreaker of the whole game right there.
Yeah.
That it's tied up at that point, and we stop him. We get the ball. I believe we win the game. And 4 guys, man, including 2 defensive linemen. It's just unacceptable.
Yeah.
And so like you said, with all considerations, we still had a chance to win the game at the end, and we didn't. So whatever. But I'm looking forward to seeing how they respond this week, because this week the Browns got a really, really strong defense, if not, dare I say, stronger than Green Bay's. So it's not going to be a restful week. It's going to be a week where they need to fine tune things. They need to start fast, like Ben talked about, and hone those skills, tighten up those nuts and bolts of the protection of the routes of everything, footwork from a fundamental standpoint, and get some really good live action practice in cold weather, and then come back and do it again next week against the Packers and see how much you've grown. So it's a great opportunity. I think if there's anybody that's better than Micah Parsons, it's Myles Garrett. He can do everything Micah can do, but better, in my opinion. And so, a great challenge. And I think their defensive line is better than Green Bay's. The thing that Green Bay did, and I got to give them credit, they came ready to play against the Bears. They did not underestimate the Bears. They recognized how strong we as a Bears team has been, and they came out ready to play from the opening snap. And I didn't see that, at least from our trenches early on. So if we can do that, we can play with anybody. But we got to do that. So it'll be interesting to see. But I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, and I think, isn't next week Tremaine? That's when he can come off IR. So it's possible.
That's the first game he's eligible. Yeah, but they haven't given any indication. We'll see after this game, I guess.
Yeah,
but hopefully that was a plan all along. That'd be wonderful.
Yeah, I mean, if we can get him back, and then obviously Rome, we had the injury report come out today. Rome was listed as limited for a walkthrough with that foot injury. I mean, that was a huge loss too. I mean, he's our number 1 receiver. He's Caleb's go-to guy. Luther Burden stepped up. He had a nice game. Right. But you'd like to have Rome out there to catch some important balls. That affected things too. But yeah, one possession game came down effectively to 1 play, 2 if we would have gone for 2 at the end. But I mean, a lot's been talked. We really don't have probably anything fresh to add about that final play. I mean, you watch the tape and Cole was open. If Caleb throws that just a little bit earlier, he got a little bit more field, that's a touchdown. Yeah. By the time he threw it, he underthrew it, but it was also probably a little late. And so, man, it was there, just didn't quite get it. It's all amplified because it's Green Bay and, everything over the last 25 to 30 years with Green Bay. But you walk away from that game thinking, okay, we lost, but it was a tight game. It was a competitive game. And we get to play them again in 2 weeks and split the series potentially. And, I think that was our hope going into the year. As I said a little bit ago, split it with them. Right. You feel pretty good. Got to win this game against Cleveland, though. I mean, this is they're not a good team by any means. I mean, they just lost at home to the worst team in the league. They
They,
have some players
they
for
won.
sure.
They beat. Oh, they did lose to the Browns. You're right. It was 31-29 Titans. Damn, I thought it
Yeah.
was Cleveland. Yeah, you're right.
They had a chance. They scored
They
late.
did.
They went for two, but they missed it. Now, there was a lot of really dumb penalties committed by the Titans down the stretch, like personal fouls, face masks, all kinds of stuff that was really, really sending the Browns down the field. Like that last drive, I want to say, I'm just going off memory. It felt like half of the yards were penalty yards, but they get
Mm,
all the way down there. And then Shador made a nice throw to the left corner of the end zone to pull within two. And then they went for two and they didn't get it. So I'm losing by 2 points. But look, I mean, the Titans are not good. So they got some players, but you cannot lose to Cleveland at home with Cleveland coming off of a home loss against the Tennessee Titans. You just can't do it. So this needs to be a get right game. I hope they're not overlooking them and just thinking about Green Bay and that rematch. You got to get this win, get to 10 wins overall. Then you get Green Bay coming to town and, get your revenge, because the nice thing about the Green Bay series, it started in Green Bay, it finishes in Chicago. If they beat them in Chicago, no one's even thinking about that loss
yep.
at Lambeau anymore, because that's going to be, unless we play them in the playoffs, that's the last one people are going to remember till next season.
Right.
So ultimately, if you could win one of the two, I guess I'd probably choose to win the one in Chicago.
Yeah.
So,
Or the later one in the season,
yeah.
and that checks both boxes. Yeah, you're right. And yeah, I think Cleveland is going to be a tough challenge. I think Quinshawn Judkins, he runs similar to Josh Jacobs.
Mhm.
They're kind of built similarly, stout. 5'10 ish, 5'9", 5'10, but real stout guys, real shifty. And Shador he's only got a couple starts under his belt, but he looked like he was comfortable against the Titans. But the thing that I thought was most interesting about that game, and this is my one takeaway. You go back to the final play in Green Bay. We've dissected his options, and should he throw it to DJ? Should have hit DeAndre? Could he hit Cole early? Why are you freaking passing the ball? Is my question.
Yeah.
Why are you passing the ball? All week long, you've known their weakness is up front in the middle. We didn't run it in the first half well. All of our yardage and success came in the second half. Why stop?
Yeah.
And Micah Parsons even alluded to, he was kind of surprised that they were passing the ball too, given the timing, down and distance, all that. DeAndre Sweat had like 4.8 yards of carry. Monangai was not too far behind him.
Yeah.
Run the damn ball. Like that's the one thing I would say. Yeah, we can digest this, that, but man, just pound the rock. Like sometimes I feel like coaches overthink it, and that pisses me off.
They were gassed, man. Green Bay their defense has not been gassed like that all season. Like they might have won the game, but like the Bears beat them up. I mean, they were running it down their throat.
Yeah.
I mean, god damn that. I know he didn't end up really gaining any yards on the play, but that play where Monangai like broke the helmet, my god. Like, yeah, and the play before 3rd and 1, I think it was Monangai. He ran it, and I'm sure they expected to get the first down there, and he got stopped short. Go back and watch that play. That was a terrible spot. Like, it was so bad. I wonder if it would have been worth challenging, to be honest with you. It was at least a half a yard short, because if you watch that play where he comes down, and don't get me wrong, I'm not saying we lost because of the officials, but it was a bad spot, like at least a half a yard short of where he was. You watch it, he comes down on his back. It's clear where the ball is. They marked him way short of where he was. He probably didn't have the first. He was a lot closer than the spot was on that final play. And if you move that up a half yard, maybe they do run it. But yeah, I agree. You run the ball, and then you have 4 shots at the end zone.
Yeah, and the issue is, and this is, I mean, I haven't even really thought about this since the game, but Caleb threw it 35 times on Sunday. We ran it 32 times. That's unacceptable. That's point blank unacceptable in that game. And then, and I love putting the ball in Caleb's hands. Like I love that, and I think Caleb is so clutch. I think, and I wrote it in my game after notes. Like there were 3 or 4 plays that were iconic from a Bears quarterback history books highlight reel. Iconic throws with Micah in his face and, just on the run, like insane throws that he made. So I get it. I don't fault him for it. Obviously, yes, we need to start fast. Yes, he needs to hit his receivers and stride more. Just connect with them accuracy wise. But run the damn ball, man.
Yeah.
Run the ball. Like we're closing the game out. You're milking the clock. We still got time. I think 2 timeouts at the time. Run the freaking ball, bro. And we didn't do that, and here we are. But my point is, I can't believe how much yardage the Browns let up last week on the ground to a guy that, in my opinion, has a similar skill set to Swift, and that is Pollard. Pollard sliced him up.
They made him look like Barry Sanders, dude.
Yeah.
He was all over the place in that game, man. It was insane how I think he averaged like over 6 yards a carry in the game. Yeah, 6.4 yards per carry. Spears had some nice carries too. He ended up with only 19 yards, but he had a couple nice carries. He had one that was about 10 yards or so, but come in relief. But Pollard had 25 carries for 161 yards. I believe that was the most yards he's ever run for in his like 7 or 8 year long career. So I want to shout out CMAC in the chat because he sent us a super chat. So thank you, CMAX64, for the super chat. Browns are going to fail. I sure hope so. I sure hope so. I hope you're right. Yeah. Anthony in the chat. Do you think the weather changes the game plan? I mean, it was going to be cold in Green Bay. I thought they're going to run it more than they did because of that weather. But as you said, 35 passing plays was pretty surprising. Now, I mean, we did get down. So, but even when we weren't down or it was still a game, we were talking about in the Windy City Gridiron Slack and, text and everything. Couldn't believe how little they were running the ball in the first half. And it was like the few times that they did, they were getting big chunks, like run the ball. What are we doing? And then finally in the second half, started running the ball. And sure enough, that's when we make the comeback and the offense starts working. So I hope they take that into account next time against Green Bay, but also this week, because when I was watching that Browns Titans tape, I was like, man, look at what Pollard's doing. We should be able to run all over this defense, Cleveland. And so I think there's gonna be a lot of opportunities.
Yeah, no, same thing. Yeah, I would say, does the weather change it? No, I think the weather encourages them to stick with what they do. One of the things Ben talked about was the weather shouldn't affect them because they've been practicing in this. So it's just what they practiced. So run the ball, assert their domination, because that's the thing, man. It's like we've talked about identity ad nauseum, and maybe not even us on this show as much, but the Bears and the Bears beat writers and the coaches and what is your identity? Our team's identity right now is running the football and beating up, bludgeoning the other team, and then Caleb with his insane arsenal and the weapons around him to score points. And as we've said, man, we've not clicked. Caleb has not. The whole team has not clicked yet. Still not. But we've been able to get the wins. Against a playoff team like Green Bay, it's not going to happen. Mm-hmm. That comes ready to play like they did. Philadelphia is a playoff team, but they didn't come ready to play this week either. Excuse me. So, but we've been winning. We got to tighten these things up. And I think last week and I think this week is going to be really an opportunity to tighten things up again against a really good defense. I'm excited to see how Caleb and crew responds, but hopefully Ben sticks to the script and runs the ball early and often and then takes some shots deep. By the way, where the heck was DJ? That's a question I have for you.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what's going on with DJ this year. I mean, they clearly don't view him as their top option. I mean, that's Rome. It's been clear watching.
Who is they? Is it Ben? Is it Ben and Caleb? Because Caleb's the one that's throwing the balls. He's the one that's deciding who to throw to.
I think Ben. I think just Ben doesn't view him in that way. I think, he's a guy. I think DJ's a guy that they try to get the ball to, and like they run the reverses to him. They doing the screens. Like he's kind of like the Debo for the Bears.
Right.
But Rome is that big body possession guy that he seems to trust the most as like best route runner, number one receiver. Doesn't mean that they're not trying to go to DJ at certain moments, but like you're paying this dude a lot of money. What is it? 28 million a year, something like that. I mean,
well, I mean, it's pretty much a foregone conclusion he's not going to be back next year.
Yeah.
I don't think anyway. And to that point, there's some other guys too, like Nashawn Wright. I don't think is going to be back. Jaquan Brisker, I don't think is going to be back. Kyler Gordon, I'm questioning if he's going to be back. Like, there's a lot of guys who I don't think will be back, and that's why this league is such a "what have you done for me lately" league.
Mm-hmm.
And so, yes, we'll have some pass rush help next year. We'll have some, maybe an enforcement and left tackle, maybe another running back. Right? We're going to get some guys, but we're going to lose some guys too. And this is the last chance we're going to have with this group at this age of their careers and stage of their careers to make some noise. And I agree with you. We're going to have a more complete roster next year. But if we can play complete football, Ryan, get some guys back and play complete complementary football, strong defense, not turn the ball over, run the ball, stop the run, get a turnover or two. Nobody wants to play us. They shouldn't want to play us. And everybody this year seems beatable as well. So this year still could happen. But like I said, we need to play complete ball. And so this week is the chance to make that happen at home after a Green Bay loss. Caleb, let's see what you got, because DJ needs to be involved. He's not going to be here next year, but he's still a heck of a ball player. He still loves Chicago, plays in Chicago weather. He's done it before. So get him involved. And if you can't, I'm sorry, but that's on Ben Johnson. Like, everybody likes to throw their flowers at Ben Johnson, rightfully so. He's had an amazing season so far, exceeded my expectations, and they were high. But if you can't get DJ Moore the ball, that's on you, because it's not they can't succeed in this league. He's done it.
Yeah.
So you shouldn't be handicapping an offense, especially one that's as flexible and powerful as yours, just to get somebody the ball. So, and yeah, it's got to be some on Caleb too, but I blame that on Ben. And so, Ben, make something happen, get DJ the ball. I don't necessarily think he's the answer this week. I think we need to pound it again, but I would like to see DJ more involved for sure. But to your point earlier, I love what I saw from Luther, man. I loved what I saw from Luther, both in the box score and just on the film. Like, he was getting in guys' faces. He was mixing it up. He was ready. He was here for the rivalry, man. He had a chip on his shoulder, and he was backing it up, and he looked like our best receiver.
Yeah.
So that was awesome.
Now he's got to be a little careful grabbing dudes by the neck. I'm stunned he didn't get flagged on that, but you love to see it in the Bears Packers rivalry. Like, this guy's first Bears Packers game, and he's totally bought in. You could tell, man. He was having none of it.
Yeah, you love it.
And Anthony asked in the chat, are we trading DJ and Kyler? I mean, there's going to be a market for DJ to get traded. Somebody's going to want that guy. I mean, he's an ultra skilled wide receiver. It's just the Bears have a wealth of wide receivers right now, and if he's not going to be their number one option, the Bears are starting to spend a lot of money now, towards the cap. You just can't be paying him that kind of money if you're building a championship contending team. So, I think they will be. I think they'll be looking to trade him for sure.
And I forgot about the massive extension that Kyler signed, and I believe that was before it was this past off season. So Ben hadn't gotten a chance to coach him yet, but he's signed through 2028. So he just needs to get his butt healthy. But it'll be fascinating to see, what they do with. I think Brisker's gone. Personally, I think CJ should rightfully take his spot. Give him some little flexibility, but I think they address safety in the draft as well, because Byard's getting up there. Byard's been our best player maybe on the whole team this year, but he's getting older and he can't sustain this. So, but yeah, as far as DJ is concerned, there will be a market. I think we trade him. My guess is maybe a second round pick. If we're lucky, probably a third, just because that's the nature of the business. But to offload that contract, get an extra third round pick, that's what I'm saying. Take advantage of the talent while you have it right now, and not to mention, raise the price tag in so doing. So, a lot of football left to be played, and he needs to be involved. That's for sure.
Yeah. All right. Before we talk Cleveland Browns, we got to go to a word from one of our new sponsors here on the show, and we'll be back to talk a little bit about Cleveland. So, anyone who's been around athletics, this. When you get into the gym, you train, with your body in mind. You train with intention. You know what muscle groups you're going to work, that week or that day, and your mind deserves that same level of care. The mind is as important in succeeding at athletics as the muscles. And when you think about the mind, therapy is important. Lots of people use therapy, and it helps people handle stress, stay focused, show up better for the people who rely upon you. No drama, just results. And that's where Rula comes in. It takes all of the friction out of getting started. No long wait lists, no guessing who's actually a good fit for you. You answer a few questions, and Rula connects you with a licensed therapist who matches your needs fast and affordably. Rula makes therapy simple, affordable, and fast. They work with most major insurance plans, and the average session copay is just $15. That's 15 bucks. Basically the cost of lunch, but instead of a sandwich and an energy drink, you're investing in your own headspace. And look, that's what matters most. So a lot of guys wait until things hit a breaking point. We're a football podcast. Guys think they're so tough. People don't want to admit when they need help. But there's nothing wrong with doing so, because you want to take care of yourself. You want to take care of the people around you. Therapy isn't a weakness, it's a tool. The same way you'd work with a strength coach to fix your squat pattern, a therapist helps you tighten up the mental side so you can keep performing at your best. So if you've ever felt stuck, overwhelmed, or like you're carrying more weight than you let on, Rula makes it simple to take that first step. It's helped lots of men and women across this country. It's helped teammates, patients, all kinds of people. Thousands of guys have already used Rula to finally get the care that they need. So don't keep putting it off. Go to rula.com/gridiron and get started today. That's RULA.com/gridiron. Take the first step, get connected, and take control of your mental health. All right. Cleveland Browns, Shedeur Sanders. He's playing now. We've seen some things from Shedeur. I don't know, man. Watching his tape last week, I haven't watched a lot of him. He hasn't played the whole season, obviously, but I watched last week's game. And you see some of the similarities in the way he moves to Caleb. There was a couple of circumstances where it looked like the Titans had him dead to rights, and he ducked out of there and spun out of there, just like Caleb does. Hit some nice long passes, hit a lot of passes underneath though too. I noticed early on that the Titans were playing a lot of man defense, and he had no problem against man. But when they switched to zone, literally one of the very first plays when the Titans went to zone, he threw a pick. So what does that mean for our Bears? Well, I think the Bears are top 10 in the league in man defense percentage. So from what I saw on the tape, Shedeur struggles a little bit more with zone. But yeah, he's shown he can make plays. Like I said, he made that nice throw to the end zone to pull within 2 at the end of the game against the Titans. They did not end up tying it, but he's a gamer, man. He can make the throws. He's an athlete. He's a personality, obviously. I mean, how do you feel about going up against Shedeur Sanders?
Well, he's got some talent around him. This is a run first team. They've been pounding the rock all year. Quinshon Judkins is playing arguably the best football of any running back in his first year this season across the league. So, and they've got another rookie I really like in Dylan Sampson, who is more of a pass catching threat. So he's got weapons. He's got some weapons at receiver, not so many. I think that's where they're going to go in the first round this year. They do have Jerry Jeudy, who finally looked like his former self this past week with Shedeur. But a guy I'm really high on, that's Harold Fannin Jr. from Bowling Green, third round rookie, tight end. He can kind of do it all. They move him around all over. They've been doing it since preseason, and he sets up some matchup problems. And Shedeur just gets his guys the ball. The Browns have pretty much had a real strong offensive line for a little while now, and so when you pair a young quarterback with solid offensive line, good run game, and some complementary pieces, good things can happen. Granted, you're not going to play the worst Titans team every week, but Shedeur's confidence is sky high right now, and so we've got to kind of bring him back down to earth. He can escape, maybe that tackle like Caleb, but he can't run away from defenses like Caleb can. And And so, Booker has got to be on it this week. Montez, hopefully, he can continue his sack streak. But I'm not too worried about. Again, I think it's going to be a great game as far as they don't do anything too crazy, but they do it well. So we're going to have to be on our game to come away with the win, and we absolutely need to get a win because the rest of our games the remainder of this season are brutal. But um, but I definitely think we should beat Cleveland and hopefully kind of remind Shador he's a rookie, maybe even give him a good rookie moment or two. But I'm just excited to see how this team responds, man. We've been playing so well.
Yeah.
And we have not lost. I mean, this is only our fourth loss all year. We lost to the Ravens and then went on another streak. And so how are we going to lose the biggest game, the most emotionally high and draining game of the year against the Packers? That game got flexed, right? Like, it had playoff feel. It was in Lambeau. They hate us. Like, how do they respond? How does this Ben Johnson led team respond? And I've just been so impressed with Ben as a leader. I feel like this is going to be one of those games where we just dominate start to finish and is our most complete game sort of thing. And I could see Miles being a problem, but like I said earlier, like Ben a week or so ago regarding Micah, like the thing I trust about Ben is he puts our guys in position to not be one-on-one or on an island, whatever, with the best players. He schemes protections, and that's what the Packers D coordinator did well. Is he changed some things up, gave us some unscouted looks to get Micah, by himself. But we adjusted and we did well. I think. I just think that, and we have Jim Schwartz is the defense coordinator in Cleveland, who I like him a lot. But I think we need to stick to what we do: run the ball and play. Get to your weapons, get Luther, get DJ involved, and let's make a statement, man. Let's win this game by a solid 3 touchdown plus margin, and tune up for the Green Bay game at Soldier Field.
Yeah, man. We know that we haven't had many of those types of games around these parts in a while, and this year really the only one was the Dallas game. But man, yeah, it does feel like it could be one of those games where we pull away early and it's never really in doubt. And I would love that. My stress level would love that so much. If we could just pound Cleveland and feel really good and gain some more momentum going back, against Green Bay. Yeah, I mean, like Tennessee, a bad team, but they got some players too. And Jeffrey Simmons, a guy who we've seen the Bears linked to in trade rumors in the past. He had a huge game against Cleveland.
Yep.
1.5 sacks, 3 QB hits, pass deflected, 7. I mean, he was in there all the time. So, there could be opportunities for the middle of this D line to get right. Dexter certainly owes us after his missed forearm tackle against Jacobs there at the end of the game, and the play you referenced a little bit ago that could have decided the game. If the middle of our D line could do something in this game, that would be nice. I mean, we saw Simmons, a DT, do some of that against Cleveland last week. So, it could be some opportunities. You mentioned it. It's a pretty stout D line, though. Otherwise, we talked about the rushing attack. Tony Pollard for Tennessee had his best game ever in his pro career against Cleveland. So certainly, I think Swift and Monangai can go to town on this line if we stick with the run. They ran it right at Myles Garrett. They were right on his side a lot of the time and just blew by. I mean, it seemed like Garrett was getting, at least early, he was getting in the backfield like every single play. Like they were barely even pausing him as he was rushing the quarterback or going up against the run. But they just ran right. He was playing mostly on his right side, and they were running the ball right over there constantly. And, Pollard was blowing by him. So be opportunities to run the ball. Yeah, Shador, I mean, like I was saying, he made some plays, but people have been talking a lot about pass completion rate here in Chicago and around the country. I mean, he didn't have a great completion rate against Tennessee. He had a lot of yards, 364 yards passing. A lot of that was yard after the catch. His dudes ran with the ball. I mean, they were getting a lot of yards that way too.
Right.
You mentioned Fannin Jr. He had 114 yards receiving in that game and a touchdown.
Yeah.
Judy had a touchdown, 76 yards receiving. But yeah, we're gonna need We're going to need that secondary to play a whole lot better than they did against Green Bay, and I think they will. I mean, they're going to
Yeah.
be pointing out those errors all week, and they'll be ready for Cleveland. So, yeah, should we do predictions right now?
Yeah, and before we get to it, I've said a couple times I like the Browns. They're one of my favorite teams this year because I love their rookie class. You've got Shador, we already talked about Quinshawn, and the other running back Dylan Sampson. Fannin Jr. is a rookie I love. You've got Mason Graham, who was their first pick. Mason Graham, I love the D tackle out of Michigan. A lot of us talked about wanting him in Chicago this year, but he went like top 5. And then arguably the defensive rookie of the year front runner is Carson Schwetzinger. I mean, he's a heck of a linebacker from UCLA. It's 6 guys I really, really, really like to watch play, and they're all playing well. And so I just love young, fresh energy in the league, and I liked all those guys in college, and it's cool to see one team swing and strike gold on all those players. But I'm going to say 31 14 the Bears in this one.
That would be nice. That would feel nice. 31-14. Okay. Well, I'm going to go bigger. Tennessee put up 31. I'm going to say 38-17 Bears. 38. I'll go 38-17. And we'll be feeling good on the podcast. Now, if we don't win this game, Brian, I'm going to need something really hard to drink next week, because
you got the Fireball already. I'll have to get myself some too.
I'll be a few pulls of that, because you mentioned, I mean, we got 4 games left. Bare minimum, they got to go 2-2, and you'd like to win 3. I've seen like some of these playoff machines. If the Bears can get to 12 wins, it's like nearly impossible for them to miss playoffs. They could actually miss out with 11 wins. The NFC is wild this year, but 10 ain't going to be enough. So bare minimum, they got to go 2-2. And, other than this, 3 really difficult games. We're lucky in that we get so many of these games at home,
right?
The way the schedule lined up. We get Green Bay at home, we get Detroit at home, and this one's at home. Got to go out to San Fran. But God, you got to have this one. Because when you look at those other 3 games, and if you lose here and bare minimum, you got to go 2-3, it's going to be tough. It's going to be really tough. So I hope Ben gets him up for this. Got more faith in him than any coach we've had in a long time. I think him and the staff will have the Bears up for it, and they'll walk away with the W.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it, man. I've always loved watching the classic NFC North, AFC North battles, especially later in the year when the winter time is here. And we talked a couple weeks ago when we played the Ravens, how one of the last times we played was late December. It was a running game. It was mud everywhere. Joe Flacco, Jordan Howard just pound the rock. Ravens, Bears, and I kind of feel similar. But our offense, our team, they came out with an L last week. So I expect more fire this week. We've got so much talent. We have the superior roster and the coaching. And so I'm excited about this game. It's not divisional, obviously, but we need it. And Ben said we are desperate for this win. I think that needs to show up from the opening kickoff. And let me just take a moment to say I was very disappointed with the special teams this week. Very disappointed all the way around.
Mm-hmm.
Other than Cairo's clutch field goal kicks in cold weather, we got to give him credit, right? Like, he is still dependable as it comes. But everything else, we did not have that urgency. We did not have that attention to detail. And Hightower has got to be, he's got to be gone this offseason. But either way, like, we need to see it on the screen that we have come out ready to play from the first minute on.
Yeah.
We can't wait against a team like Cleveland. So my guess is we accept and we return it if we win the toss. If we don't, we need to pummel Shador in a submission, get a pick right away. Like, that's the kind of game we need this game to make a statement. Don't let them think they have a chance. Even Shador, as confident as he might be, shut him up quick and humble him. And I like him. Like, I'm a Shador fan. He might be a little bit, brash, but I like him. I'm rooting for him, but not this week. He needs to get shut up and I'm excited for the opportunity for us to kind of have this get right game and then get right back to Green Bay, but we can't overlook this one.
Yeah, I think Ben Johnson probably can't wait to get rid of Richard Hightower. Here's a guy who was a holdover from, the last
Right.
staff, and just constant issues with coverage all year
Yeah.
long. And like, to Cairo, dude, you can't be having a kickoff land short of the landing zone. I mean,
He
spotting them
hit
on
a
the
player. He hit a player this week too. Kicked it to him.
yeah. Yeah, 40, starting them at the 40, and they scored like 4 plays later or something
Right.
like that. I mean, my God, special teams was terrible. I haven't handed out a special teams game ball in a while. There hasn't been much to write home about in my
Yeah.
column. We got a Browns fan in the chat, and he's picking the Browns to win. Go back and listen to the show. I mean, we like your team. We like a lot of the players on your team. We can't have it. The Bears are the more talented roster, to Brian's point. They're just at a different point than the Browns right now, and Bears got to find a way to win this game.
Yeah, at home
So
after that loss.
yeah. So we'll see what happens, but hopefully they can get the W in frigid Soldier Field, -15 or whatever it's going to end up being. I don't know, man. This is one of those games where you're like, okay, I'd be cool with an indoor stadium for the Bears, because I wouldn't even consider going to it. So yeah, and hard pressure. We wish you guys the best of luck. He's our Browns fan in the chat. The rest of the way, just not this week. Just not this week.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, you have a bright future, which has been a while to say that. But yeah, not this week. And hopefully, so the young players make some plays. Like I said, I'm real big. I call him Swedgehead. There was a guy, actually, you guys might remember him on here. One of the fullbacks, longtime fullbacks for Barry Sanders, Corey Schlesinger, called him Sledgehead. And so I kind of view Carson Sweshinger same way. I call him Swedgehead. A big Swedgehead fan on defense, huge Mason Graham fan. Obviously, Myles Garrett is a beast. And Denzel Ward, obviously one of the best at corner to do it as well. And then I'm a running back, so I love, huge fan of Quinshawn and Dylan Sampson. Already talked about Shador. Harold Fenton is a guy that can get carries. They put him all over, fullback, tight end, wide receiver, and Shador loves him. And did you know Harold Fenton leads the league from tight end position in broken tackles?
No.
He is a guy that's not going to go down. So Brisker better wrap up, because he might get shut up real quick against this Harold Fanning guy. And our whole defense, not just him, but I trust Byard to wrap up more than I do Brisker. But it's going to be a tall task, but it's one that we need to step up to the challenge, and I think we will, based on what I've seen so far from this team and the coaching staff. But the Browns have a bright future.
Yeah. I mean, for the Bears, this team that's been leading the league in turnovers too on defense. I mean, Cleveland turned the ball over against Tennessee. Like I mentioned, Shador's interception. They fumbled a couple of times. So there's going to be plays to be made for our defense too to get those turnovers, which is one of the keys to our victories this year. So hopefully we see a little bit of that. But yeah, I mean, to your point on the Browns, I was kind of thinking about that, watching that game. They're playing at home, and one of those kind of old school franchises just like us, and be like, it'd be pretty fun to see the Browns have a solid team again. We like that when the old school franchises are good. Right. Just not this week.
Yeah,
just not this week. So all right, I think that's about it, Brian. We'll see how we're feeling next week after this one. But it's been fun as always.
Yeah, and don't forget, if you guys are listening, send us a pic. We'll send you a stick.
Yeah, we last week we had a guy over in Spain send us a picture of him listening to the show. So it's still open. I got tons of these Bears Over Beer stickers. If you want one, all you got to do is tweet us a picture, or Instagram, whatever. Just make sure you tag us. Tweet us a picture of you listening to the show, or like your phone with the artwork on it, or your dash in your car, just not while you're driving, whatever. Just send us a picture that you're tuning into the show, and I'll DM you, get the address you want us to send that sticker. I've sent out quite a few of them already. I'll send some more. The deal is still open. You can also support our show with merch. There is a link to the Second City Gridiron store down here in the broadcast description. So you can buy our Bears Over Beer shirts, hoodies. We got beanies for the wintertime. We've got these awesome pint glasses. We've got rocks glasses. Just another way to support what we're doing over here. And of course, check out their written words as well at windycitygridiron.com. And both Brian and myself, we're writing stuff there every single week. And you can follow us on social. There's our usernames at the bottom of our streams as well. So appreciate all your support. Appreciate everyone tuning in tonight. It's been a lot of fun as always. And we will catch you all next week. Bear down.
Bear down, baby.